And welcome back to Second Cinema, everyone. We have three great guests from the movie A Devil in Eden. Joining me now is Patrick Horn, Leanne Bernard, and Ryan Chamberlain. Thanks, guys, for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, this is such a pleasure to have you here because this film is different than anything we've actually ever aired on Second Cinema. And I want to start out asking you, Patrick, since you were the man behind this film, what made you decide to do this kind of a film, a period piece? If you want to just tell our audience what it's about a little bit first.
It's set in 1937. It's the night that Mae West was kicked off the radio by the FCC, a first official condemnation of its type. I didn't know about this until after listening to the broadcast several times, and it came to me because I was preparing for another play which was written in the 30s, and there's a part in the play where there's a bunch of radio broadcasts, and so to just put myself in the mood, I got some old radio broadcasts off the internet and from friends' collections and stuff, and I heard this one and it just stood out, and I just started obsessing about it, and the rest is history.
Great. It's modeled after the Chase and Sanborn Hour, where Mae West came on December 12, 1937, to promote her new movie, which was Every Day is a Holiday. Mae West, as we all know, controversial woman, talks her mind back in the day, and watching this film, you know, in our day and age, we sit there, we're like, I don't really see anything wrong with what she was saying, but it was very scandalous. So how was that for you, Leanne, to play such a character?
Well, I remember reading the write-up for the audition. It was posted on one of the local websites where actors go and look for possible auditions. And I remember thinking, oh, it's scandalous. Gosh, you know, how scandalous could it be? You know, maybe I shouldn't audition for this as a Christian woman. Maybe it would be improper. And I remember getting there and reading the script, and I thought, this isn't scandalous at all by our means and, you know, by our standards today. So I kind of laughed at it, but I could see back in during that time period how it would have been very scandalous and outrageous. She read it straight apparently during the rehearsals and completely sexed it up in Mae West fashion.
Kind of ad-libbed a little bit.
Yes, during the performance.
Went off script.
Right.
And that's kind of the whole point of the movie is when you're done watching it, you think, how have we come so far that this was a problem, and you're kind of bridging the time gap, and these same problems happen. We just keep pushing the envelope every decade, and there's a lot of people who've come along that have kind of emulating Mae West, where she pretty much set the scene for a lot of independent contemporary women in movies and music.
Well, you also, this movie took a different approach. You could have done this entire thing over, where it was from scratch, but you used archive footage, you used the actual radio broadcast. So what you were dealing with here was lip syncing and recreating the characters. That's a difficult task. How did you face that?
Well, Patrick had given me a recording of the original broadcast, and I listened to it every day, at least 10 times a day, so that I knew exactly where she breathed, the pauses that she took, the rhythm and the cadence of her speak, her dialogue, just the way that she delivered a line. And it's so different from anything that I would have delivered. If he had given me the script and said, read this, it would have been completely different than what the recording was. So I really had to train myself, and it was just a ritual that I did. I listened to it constantly so that I could spew it out, and I would speak out loud along with it so that it helped get the inflection, and so that, you know, it timed my breathing with hers in the broadcast.
Did they play the actual broadcast while you were filming?
Very loud.
Yes,
I would think that would help. Now, for you, Ryan, you're the guy behind getting the word out about this film, the promotions and publicity aspect for Speak It Pictures. How difficult was it to get the word out about this film when it might be something that not a lot of people have ever even heard about, this whole scandal?
Yeah, and it was a challenge when Patrick started this project. We both started it, and he came to me, and you know, first, you know, getting people interested in it, and then, you know, trying to get the word out with it, and to, you know, try to connect with Greensboro local news and things like that. And I think it was making the issues that were relevant then that are still relevant today, and making the connections between the past and the present in terms of back then censorship, you know, was an issue, and it still is an issue for us today. So showing how far we've come, but how far we still have to go in terms of that, making that connection. And I think we were successful to a certain degree in kind of illustrating, that was the problems they had back then. Those are issues that we still have to some certain degree today. So,
well, one of the things I'd like to talk about with you, Patrick, is the creative control you had on this. You took some liberties, and while in the actual Chase and Sanborn hour, it has Dorothy Lamour, who is a bombshell, a gorgeous femme fatale, a pageant queen. I think she was like Miss New Orleans back in the day. You cast a drag queen in this role in the movie. Where you a little campy.
The whole thing's campy. You're right, and it's we were kind of going for opposites. Obviously Don Amici wasn't running around in a fig leaf, and that there was not really a talking snake on a stick, and so we were just kind of going with the campiness, and we wanted to have an end result that was appealing to not just a certain group of people, and so we kind of just completely opposite cast Dorothy Lamour from what you see her in photos. And she was also a short lady, and the gentleman we cast was 6'4". So, we were just taking liberties with the story, and since Eve was ready to get out of the Garden of Eden, that's why she was decked out in her party dress, and
right.
and he was stuck behind. So.
I was already ready to go.
And you had a moment to shine, too, in the film as well. You played Mr. Snake in the Grass,
yeah.
Which was quite interesting. Do you normally like to put yourself in your work?
It seems like about every movie I work on, I somehow get pulled into it. I'm usually on the Grip and Electric team, and they keep pulling me in to do little cameos. So, and I like acting. I've grown up on the stage and done other projects, and so it's not a far stretch for me to stick myself in some minor role that needs to be filled in. And
we see that a lot with M. Night and Stephen King. They do it in their films, and so why not stick with the acting as well? Be one with the actors, right?
It's great fun.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it was such an interesting film. I had such a great time watching it, and we're going to actually give our audience a chance to look at it. So thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure to be here today.
Thank you. So we're going to take a look at A Devil in Eden from Sc Pictures. Check it out.